Hey guys, Darth Wyatt from All That Jazz here with a director's commentary on my latest film, Darth Maul, A Star Wars Story. With no further ado, let's jump into it. There's my original Marvel style logo. I'm super happy with that. I created it for my Age of Swagwave video last year, I think. The idea for Maul to have a castle on Mustafar, and for it to be Vader's castle, came from the Wrath of Maul novelization by Ryder Windham. In the book, Maul as a child was kept on Dathomir by Darth Sidious, so I figured why wouldn't he stay there into adulthood. This scene is filmed in my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle playset. The sewer works really well for a lot of different projects. That hologram that's being used for Sidious, I actually can't show the top half of it because it's actually a 3 3/4 inch hologram figure of Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars Rebels. So, for all you people who wanted Obi-Wan in this, there you go. That's Easter egg number 1. Coming up here, there's my amazing Emperor Palpatine figure. I got that thing on eBay for $100. It's crazy. But I love it, and it was totally worth it. You can go check out a review I did on that a couple weeks ago to see all my thoughts on it. This whole scene is basically me talking to myself. Palpatine and Maul are my two favorite Star Wars impressions, and Sam Witwer is just a fantastic voice actor. I hope I did him justice in this. A couple weeks ago, I asked you guys to give me questions on Instagram to give me material for this video, so I'll address a few of those now. My inspirations for this came from a lot of places. Leo Legendary, Swagwave, and Hobo525 inspired me to make longer, story-based animations, and my friend General Jar Jar 88 accidentally gave me the idea to make it about Maul. I was also asked how long this took me to film and edit, and I'd say probably about 20 days. I don't have a date on when I started filming, but I know it was less than 3 weeks before the film was released. Quick side note, Big Bad Toy Store, I was able to get a second Imperial Guard along with Captain Rex and 6 other figures for only $50. It was an incredible find. I'm not sponsored by Big Bad Toy Store, but hey, if you guys want to sponsor me, hit me up at AllThatJazz420. I included this no witnesses thing because I feel like it fit with Maul's MO, and I wanted this film to be a lot darker. I didn't want to have any canon Jedi because then they'd see Maul and know that the Sith had returned. This music is awesome. If you were wondering where it came from, Samuel Kim Music on YouTube makes these beautiful arrangements of Star Wars themes and music from other franchises. The idea to put Dryden Voss in this came from me wanting to have a secondary antagonist hired by Sidious, and I figured why not make this the story of how Maul and Dryden meet. Carnage did an amazing job bringing this character to life. Props to him on that accent. There's a lot of Easter eggs here, so I'll unpack it all for you. That planet is actually Tarnax 4, which is the real planet from Marvel Comics. It also happens to be the home world of the Skrulls, the species that Senator Aldon is. I used the Captain Marvel Movie Wave Talos Marvel Legends figure for him. The name Aldon is not an Easter egg, that name just randomly popped out of my head. We did see Maul use his macro binoculars a couple shots back, which is a callback or a call forward to the Phantom Menace. The Master Key compound may be my favorite set in the animation. It's really simple, but the darkness of the outside and the pristine white of the inside seems to have a lot of character. It's too bad I have to use characters like DJ for soldiers. I just don't have enough random trooper figures yet. This shot I actually had to film twice, because in the original cut, Maul did a Black Widow-type leg scissor thing to the Death Trooper, but it was really tough to see what he was doing in the dark. I've got a lot of questions about my lightsaber effects. They're actually super easy if you've got the patience. You've got to draw the red and white glow into each individual frame. It takes almost as long as filming does, but it is definitely worth it. I was asked why Poe was there, and the answer to that is it isn't Poe. It's his grandfather. There's a little bit of similarity in the face, but the jacket was given to his family and passed down to Poe. Rest in peace, Poe's grandfather. For the fight choreography, this is the only scene that wasn't written by GamerLajai13. I was heavily inspired for this sequence by the Maul hallway scene from Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7, but most of all, I really like the idea of one man just tearing his way through a room of enemies. Another good question that I got was, how did I do the shot where the sword lifts up and stabs Poe's grandfather? And that was done with a wire attached to the sword, which I then erased in stop motion studio. As long as you have a frame where the wire isn't there, you can erase from anywhere in the shot. That Maul flipping right about there was some of the top-notch animation for me, at least. And that blood is also drawn in stop-motion studio. But in order to do it well, you have to really think about how the blood would spurt out and then fall to make it look like liquid. This whole fight sequence was probably the scene I had the most fun with, since it was the first scene we shot, so I had the most motivation for it. I have no explanation for why First Order Stormtroopers are there. I just didn't really have enough extra figures to make up all the guards. I feel like this sequence really demonstrates Maul's force and his hand-to-hand combat prowess, while the other two scenes are going to show off his mastery of a lightsaber. Walking is really difficult to animate. I've gotten critiques on walking, and I think the problem isn't that it's not smooth, but it doesn't really look realistic, and I'm not sure how to fix that. I'll definitely work on it for my tutorial. My next tutorial is going to be walking due to popular demand. That Master Key is built out of Hero Factory pieces. Those were my favorite toys back in the day, before I discovered Marvel Legends. And the automated voice is actually an app on my phone that can say whatever I want her to. So if you ever need a Friday or Jarvis, hit me up. This song that you're about to hear is by the brilliant Really Slow Motion. I love their music, and the best part is it's free to use as long as you credit them and aren't monetized. So you'll be hearing a lot more of their songs in my animations. I really like this fight because of the effects. I think that the lightsaber and Dryden's knives clashing looks really good, whereas the animation for the first scene stands out. I think this scene definitely is special for the effects.
I've killed Jedi before.
The fantastic Gamer Lajai 13 wrote the choreography for this fight, and he did a great job. Just amazing. I feel like he never gets the credit he deserves, so I want to give him a huge shout out for this right now. Let's talk about the sound effects for a second. Sound editing is my least favorite part of editing. It's so tedious and felt like it took weeks when it only took 2 days. However, it really brings the animation to life and makes you feel like you're there, which is super important to any good animation. This scene was definitely the most difficult to shoot because Maul is horrible at standing and Dryden's cape is super finicky, which is why I ended up removing it for the final fight. I love how Gamer implemented a lot of force powers into these fights. You'll see Maul doing a lot of force push and pulls, especially as we get into the final fight. I always try to make a point to have the characters emote a lot while they're speaking. If all you do is take one picture and then freeze it while the character is speaking, it'll really pull the viewers out of the animation. They'll think, oh, a picture is talking. Whereas the more body language the figures use, the more they'll seem like real people. I really love the banter between Maul and Dryden. This conversation here is probably my favorite dialogue in the animation. I was super excited to explore Dryden and Maul's relationship, and I'm very satisfied with the outcome. I'd be interested in making a sequel film after Maul and Dryden really start working together, but there are so many other stories that I want to tell about Maul, and even stories that have nothing to do with Maul. The sequel film will most likely not bring back Dryden, as much as it pains me to say that. I might have it take place during the period of the Crimson Dawn, in which Dryden could make a cameo. However, I want to make Maul 2 be a lot more plot-based, and maybe have some more planet hopping, and Dryden might not have to be a place in all that. The idea for Dryden to be an assassin came from me wanting to put him in, but not really having a place for him in the story. I had already written a random bounty hunter into the script, and was really happy with it. I didn't want to have to rewrite it so that Dryden was already a crime boss, so I decided that he just had a history in bounty hunting. Perhaps that was how he gained his wealth, or even how he rose to the top of the Crimson Dawn. I just love their little banter. I really enjoy animating force powers, because it's really useful to have flight stands or wire. I recommend wire when you can. It's a lot less noticeable and easier to erase. I was asked how long the script took. I'd say maybe 2 days. I was really invested and working hard on this thing. And now we transition to Damon Drewis and Master Wynn. Huge shout out to Thomas Wynn and Star Wars Collector for bringing these two to life. Writing characters is just not the same as seeing them move and speak. You both were perfect. I don't ordinarily use younger voices. However, Star Wars Collector is incredibly good at conveying emotion, and I can see a really awesome future in voice acting for him. And then of course I have Thomas, who I've worked with before on Duel of the Fates. He's a super cool guy who voiced for Swagwave before, and has his own YouTube channel. Link to all of the actors' channels in the description below. In case you didn't notice, Master Win's name was based on his voice actor, since the character didn't actually have a name until he was casted. Both of these characters are original characters of mine that were created basically just so that Maul could kill some people and seem formidable. There he is. A lot of people in the chat were saying that Maul was going to destroy these two, which that of course ends up not happening. Dryden kills one of them, and Maul barely kills the other. I like to think of this scene as preparation for his battle with Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, a fight which Maul will experience in merely a couple of days. I really tried to sync up the animation with the music, especially when it's a song like Duel of the Fates.
Jedi?
Those lightsabers igniting on cue with the music is a big part of setting the mood. Another question I got are, were there any deleted scenes? And the answer for that is no. There were some lines and moments that I cut from the script, but I didn't actually scrap any footage. This fight scene is incredible, and a crazy feat for someone like me. I'm really happy with Gamer Lejai pushing me to do more acrobatics and force powers, and at the end of the day I'm very proud with the final result. Feels a little bit like the fight from Phantom Menace, but I think splitting up the Jedi and having one fight Maul and one fight Dryden was the right call. We get a little darker there, having Dryden split the Senator's throat right away. That was a good surprise. When I watched this with friends and family, they let out an audible gasp when Dryden kills Aldon, and I love that I can get that effect from people. And I don't know how well we were able to see it there, but there's actually a dead scent commando in the corner of Aldon's office, presumably killed by Dryden. Oh, I hate that shot. It's probably my least favorite in the film. The lightsaber effects were all over the place, and I was just losing motivation to care. I'm lucky Leo Legendary's Clone Wars animation came out, or I might not have been inspired to finish filming this. There's a Senate Commando. There's Cape at least. Right back there near Dryden's foot. I love the throwing shots. Something about it looks really cool to me. Maul versus Win. Win actually kind of beats Maul here. He times his attacks just right and uses Maul's violence and ferocity against him. Same here. Dryden would be dead if Maul didn't throw this cup. This is great. I wasn't sure how to do the glass breaking, but Gamer convinced me it would look cool, so I found a Lego glass, and I think the effect came out well.
My eyes.
Something hits different about animating a death scene versus writing it. I legitimately felt bad animating Damon's death. And yes, Win does pull from the dark side here. This shot is so fantastic, very brutal, and very much something that I saw necessary. In the original cut of the script, Maul was supposed to just cut across Win's chest. But then we thought, well, the hands are already off, might as well go the full Dooku and take out the head as well. I was asked the question of how many frames I took, how many pictures were taken during the course of this animation, and that's a really difficult question to answer. I film each shot individually, and then edit it together later, and each shot is a different frame rate. Some were 30 and some were 20, and anywhere in between. But let's say if my average was 25 FPS, 17 minutes is 1020 seconds, times 25 is about 25,500. So we'll say about 26,000 pictures were taken over the course of this video. I was also asked what my next video will be. After the Maul film, it was my video essay comparing the Darth Maul and Darth Vader hallway scene. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I worked really hard on it with my editor, and we can't wait to make more of them, so be sure to suggest more video essays if you have any ideas. As for my next video after this commentary, it will be another action figure review on my Star Wars The Black Series Archive Wave Anakin Skywalker. I am in love with this scene. It gives some further insight into the rather abusive relationship between Sidious and Maul. First, he hires an assassin to kill him. Then, when Maul lets the assassin live, Sidious electrocutes him. It's no wonder Maul is the way he is. Sidious is smart, and he'll find the loopholes in everything. I like this set for his office as well. Very simple, but it gets the point across. We got some nice walking here, not bad. My next tutorial will definitely be animating walking. It was the most requested, and I'm happy with my walking, so I'll have to give it a go. That Palpatine figure is just a thing of beauty. Definitely a 9.5 action figure. The detail is just beyond incredible. And here Maul realizes he fricked up. I love the electrocution coming up. I'm so proud of the way I handled Force Lightning. It really feels super dark and ominous. And the final shot is very reminiscent of the Clone Wars. Bone-chilling. Palpatine is such, like, even in The Rise of Skywalker, I know people criticize The Rise of Skywalker, but he's just, you gotta admit, he's terrifying the whole way through. And I really wanted to capture that in this animation. The lighting. I really enjoyed the lighting. That was a fun scene to shoot. And there's my full director's commentary for Darth Maul, A Star Wars Story. Thank you so much for the support. As of recording this, Maul hasn't yet hit 1,000 views, but I know we can do it soon, and that means a lot. Maul is my favorite character of all time, and this is sort of like a appreciation for him and his incredible story. The idea of a director's commentary is really unique, and I don't think it's ever been done before. I hope you learned something, or at least enjoyed my insight. Make sure to stick around for the post-credit scene. Other than that, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe with that notification bell on for a ding every time I post a new video. I try to post every Monday and Thursday, so stay tuned for more content. I'm going to be going on a camping trip next week, so I have pre-recorded 2 action figure reviews that will be premiered during the week. Thank you for watching. This post-credit scene happens 21 years after the events of The Phantom Menace, meaning it is right around the time of Solo, A Star Wars Story. That mechanical thing Maul is in front of is actually a Siren Head figure I made out of Hero Factory pieces. Maybe in the future I'll try for a Siren Head animation. The breathing. The live chat was going ballistic at this point, and I was so glad the reveal got them excited. Maul and Vader never interacting was a big missed opportunity, one that I'm going to have to correct. To answer the final question of if I will be making a sequel, if all goes well, Darth Maul, A Star Wars Story 2 will release on December 15th, 2020.